Hey y'all, so I'm back with an eyebrow tutorial, an updated eyebrow tutorial, because I do have a video where I do my brows, but my technique or my routine has changed just a little bit, so I figured I would just go ahead and refilm it and kind of talk you through it this time. Hopefully it is more helpful and I can give more detailed information about what I'm doing as I'm walking you through what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So stick around if you would like to see how I achieve my perfect brow. Okay guys, so I'm all zoomed in so you can see what I'm doing nice and closely. Pay no mind to this little guy right here. He just decided to travel back to Houston from Denver with me. Don't know why, but we're not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna start by priming my eyebrows. Sorry, I don't have one of those fancy camera lenses that autofocuses for me when I hold stuff up to it. So this is Urban Decay Primer Potion, and this is the anti-aging formula. There we go. I'm gonna use this on my eyebrows because I tend to have to touch my eyebrows up quite a bit when I move on to the rest of my face. I always do my eyes first. It's just what works for me. A lot of people don't. Some people do their brows last. I like to do them first because I feel like they need a nice dry surface, a nice clean surface in order to last and stay all day. It prevents my brows from smudging, and it helps prevent from me having to touch it up, especially right up here in the beginning of the brow and the arch when they take a little bit too much, and sometimes the tail too. It kind of helps that product stay in that area, in those areas all day, and I don't have to touch it up so frequently. Around a little bit, and then I'll scrape the brush on the side, and I'll just take a little bit of that on my ring finger, and this is enough for both brows. I'll just split that between the two. I start here and I just smooth it on over with my ring finger. Rub that in, make sure that it's coating all throughout your brows, especially if you have really thick brows already. You want to make sure that it's really moving through the hairs and not really getting stuck, because you want it on your skin, not on the eyebrow hair. Try not to move so much so I don't go out of focus, so I apologize in advance. And also, my primer complex is really ratchet, so I also apologize in advance for any crazy sounds that y'all hear in the background. I am not responsible other than my fan. You want to comb through your brows with a spoolie brush, and I'm just taking this one that it's from European Wax Center. I used to work there, so whatever. You want to just comb your brows in the direction that you want them to go. And I'll be honest, I'm not really feeling my brows right now. I don't like the way the lady who threaded them did them, and then when I bleached them a little bit too much, and they were like super light, and then she tinted them. I don't really mind the tint, but I definitely don't like the way she threaded my eyebrows. Moving on, I'm taking Spiked by MAC, and this is like a holy grail product. I've been using this for forever. This is probably the easiest thing for beginners that I can think of. You don't want to start with like a cream or a gel because it's very easy to overuse those products, and this has a really fine tip. And what you want to do is just slowly, it's retractable, so you want to slowly click it maybe 1 or 2 times. You don't want to go crazy and just bring it all the way up, because it's so fine you will break it, and once you break it you cannot use it. Well, the part that's broken, you can use what's left in here, but you can get a lot of uses out of here if you do it correctly. So you want to just take it up just a little bit so you can just barely see it over the base of this applicator too. I usually start somewhere in the middle of my brow. So I'll take the brush, the tip of it, and I kind of spin it as I go, because as I move it against my skin, it kind of sharpens it. So I'll start like in the middle somewhere. Usually you can just outline your brows softly, very softly. And what I do is I take my pinky and I kind of rest it on my cheek, and that gives me some stability and helps me just kind of pivot and move the pencil where I need it to go without applying too much pressure. And if you have shaky hands, you can just do that, so it helps keep your hands still. And I always just kind of do the outline first, very softly. You don't want to go too harsh with the pencil because you did prime it. So if you wipe away, you'll also probably be wiping the primer away. So I have this little naked spot over here. So I'm just going to comb my brows down. I outlined a little too much, so I can just wipe that away. No biggie. And I'm kind of using curving motions when I get to this arch here, because I don't want a straight line. I don't want my brows to look like a freaking mountain. I want it to be a nice little curve, nice little arch. And I'm sorry, I think I'm out of focus. I keep moving. Well, whichever way you choose to extend your brow from the top or the bottom, just extend from one way and then connect it from the other side. I usually extend my brow, the tail of my brow, from the top, and I just make short little hair-like strokes and I just bring it down until I'm happy. You don't want to go too far down. The outside of your brow should not extend past the outside of your eye. You don't want your brow to be like way over here or way down there. That is not cute. I don't care what nobody tell you. I don't care what you tell you. That ain't cute. And anybody who tells you it's cute, they don't love you. They're not your friend. So you want to go ahead and connect it from the bottom. And I'm just going to meet the tail. Not at the very tip. I'm just going to gradually stroke it downward until they connect. You can see there's just like a little space right here. So I'm just going to keep filling that in. And if you do have pretty full brows, but you have like I do, like you have like those little bald spots, just comb your hairs out of the way so that you can get your skin and camouflage all of that together. So now I'm just making downward strokes until it's full and you can't really see much skin. It's okay if you see some skin. I don't want it to be solid. I do want it to look hair-like, but I don't want it to be spotty. So when you get to the top, the beginning of your brow, you can take your brow pencil and go upward with sharp light strokes. I usually do that, and then I usually take it sideways and just barely hit my skin to kind of blend that together. And you don't want to fill in this over here. Just leave that alone. Unless you have absolutely nothing. If you have nothing, you can make very, very light strokes. So there's a little color, or you can take a powder, which I'll show you. You can take an eyeshadow or anything that's a matte brown, not dark brown. You want to go lighter. This is an ashier brown. It's not really flesh tone or even the same shade as my eyebrow hairs, but that's okay because I don't need it to be as dark. I just need it to blend and fade together. There we go. And this is charcoal brown, so you can see that's kind of ashy. And I'm just going to take the other end of this same spoolie brush and I'm just going to lightly dab in there, and I'm going to take the brush, shake off any excess, and you can blend a little bit past your brows. If you have a little naked spots and you like that little taper look, that's fine. And then I usually take the angle part, lay it flat, and then just kind of flick it upward. And now you have a nice clean brow. You can see that that is way too harsh. I applied a little too much pressure. So I'm going to take the very tip of this spoolie brush and I'm just kind of using that as an eraser as I blend it out until I'm happy with it, and then I can keep going. Now I have nice natural looking full brows, and now I can just clean them up with concealer. So that's it for brows. Notice that there's no harsh lines of concealer except for at the very tail. There's no obvious signs of concealer. If I wanted to go out just like this, I could, but I wouldn't because these brows are a little too much for just a regular plain face. But it's very simple, very natural looking, very soft. I didn't overdo it. I didn't overextend the tail of my brow, and I don't want my eyebrows to touch here either. The same rule of thumb goes for the tail. You don't want it to extend past your nostril or past your eye, and then you don't want the beginning of your brow to go past the side of your nose. Not necessarily this part because that would look a little crazy, but just right here. And that's also where you're going to contour your nose as well. But I hope this was helpful. I'm gonna move on to the face. So if you'd like to see the look that I'm going to do, slide on over to the next video and watch me create this face. Thanks for watching.